Morning. It's Friday, November 27th, the day after Thanksgiving. And I hope that everybody had a safe and healthy Thanksgiving. And you wore your mask except when you had to eat something. And I know most of us stayed pretty much at home and did what we were supposed to do in the midst of this pandemic. And so I'm going to talk today about something that has really not crossed my mind during this pandemic, and it's probably not crossed the mind of many other people during this pandemic. But I was speaking to my brother. My brother is a doctor, and he pointed me to an article in the New York Times. So I just finished reading the article, and now I want to tell you a little bit about it. When this pandemic broke out, we did not have enough ventilators to treat those who had gotten sick with COVID-19. But our manufacturing prowess and our manufacturing intelligence and our ingenuity in manufacturing rose to the challenge. And now we have lots and lots of ventilators. What we don't have is specialists to operate them. We have something like 155,000 ventilators in the National Distribution Center. And every hospital has plenty of ventilators and no problem getting the ventilator. Even in areas of this country where the population is sparse, they can get ventilators, and they can get them pretty quickly. And if they can't get them that quickly, they have some, what shall I call them, emergency room equipment that they can use to keep the patient alive until they get a ventilator for them. But what they can't get quickly is the specialists to operate them. These specialists go by the names of intensivists, or you can call them respiratory specialists or pulmonologists. Doesn't matter what you call them. There's only 37,000 of them available in this country. And they don't exist in many of the sparsely populated areas of this country. In fact, they don't exist in many hospitals. Not every hospital has an intensivist on staff or a pulmonologist on staff. So they're a rare breed in this country, and it takes a long time to become one. So that's a major problem. And this is a specialty that takes years to become an expert. It's a medical doctor, and it's 2 years on top of that to become an intensivist or a respiratory specialist or a pulmonologist. And they are in critical short supply. So while we were able to manufacture ventilators very quickly, we can't manufacture doctors and nurses that quickly. And you can't train somebody very quickly to operate the equipment, the ventilator. These are exceptionally complex machines that require expertise and constant monitoring for weeks or months if a patient is tethered to that machine for that long period of time. You can't teach someone overnight the correct settings and the buttons to push on a ventilator for patients who have a disease that they've never seen before. Now, I remember when the pandemic first hit, and New York was the epicenter of the pandemic. We sent out a call to get experts to come to the city from around the country to help us out with this emergency. And we got it under control, and the experts went back to their base of operations and are now probably very busy where they are. So there's no place we can go to find additional help at this point. I'm sure that all the pulmonologists and all the intensivists and all the respiratory specialties are up to their eyeballs in work. The most realistic thing that we have been able to do, according to this article, is to reduce the impact on hospitals. And that means wearing masks and avoiding crowded spaces so we can flatten the curve on this infection. So I guess essentially What I'm saying is we got to keep people out of the hospital. We got to keep them healthy. It's especially dangerous in the sparsely populated areas of this country, because in places like Idaho, Ohio, South Dakota, local hospitals don't have experts on staff. They have to send the patients to the nearest city or to the regional medical center, which is already overcrowded, and the intensive care beds are filling up very fast. So when I look at this situation, I've come to the conclusion this is a monumental case of unintended consequences. The first thing we looked at was getting a machine. I don't know if anybody at that point in time thought about the fact that we need people to operate this equipment. Do we have enough of them? But we need these machines too. So we got the machines. And now we are faced with the quandary of not having experts that can run these pieces of equipment. So it is a classic case of unintended consequences. And now we have to come to grips with how do we handle this situation? And the only real way that we can handle this situation is to reduce the amount of people that are getting sick. And how do you reduce the amount of people who are getting sick? Well, that boils down to your personal habits and your self-control and the ability to see beyond your own little circle of life. This means you must wear a mask at all times when you are outside the house, shopping or doing whatever you're doing. You must take precautions. Washing your hands, hand sanitizers, everything that we have been told to do, everything that many of you are considering an infringement on your rights. Well, you who are worried about your rights should consider the rights of others, the rights of your neighbor and your friend to live a long, healthy life because you have attempted to keep them safe. And that's a burden that many of you, for whatever reason, object to taking on. And so I say to you, smarten up, get your heads out of your ass, be careful, wear your mask, keep yourself clean, don't kiss anybody. An elbow bump will suffice for the time being. And that's enough for this morning. So I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Happy day after Thanksgiving. Bye.